In this video, we will see wastewater treatment. Now, wastewater is a unfit water that we cannot use it for human consumption. Now, wastewater cannot be released because it contains contaminants, and it's a waste of lot of water if we just throw it away. We have to recycle it. Now, wastewater treatment refers to a process wherein we remove the contaminants from it, so make sure that it is fit for some usage or some purpose. Now, wastewater treatment includes multiple steps. It includes physical, chemical and biological processes to remove physical, chemical and biological contaminants. Now, wastewater generated from our home or factories or office, etc., so is taken into a ground by a set of pipes and it reaches the nearby wastewater treatment plant. So you can see in the picture how a wastewater plant looks. It's a very huge area and where the water is stored. Now, once the water is collected, wastewater is collected, the first step is to screen. Now, the screening is basically we will pass the wastewater through a bar screen wherein large objects like rags, wood pieces, sticks, stones, cans, polythene bags, etc. basically large structures or items which can be easily separated will be removed. Now, this is necessary because the inner structure, that is the second step onwards, the equipments are very sensitive and it can damage the equipments used for wastewater treatment. Now, the second step is to remove the grit and sand. So, it is taken to grit and sand removal tanks. So, water is then allowed to go into grit and sand removal tank. Here, the speed of incoming wastewater is controlled very carefully. Now, this allows grit, sand, stones and other heavy objects to settle at the bottom, and the clear water or the water which contains less dense substances in it will be floating on the top. Now, we will take it to the next step known as the sedimentation tank. Now, water is allowed to pass into large tanks known as sedimentation tanks, also called as clarifiers. Now, these tanks are very large and these are made in such a way that our organic matter, that is example feces, all of it can sink slowly to the bottom and materials like grease and oil can float at the surface. Now, these grease and oil which is floating on the top will be skimmed off. Now, what will happen to the bottom part where the feces and organic matter is settled? The organic solid matter collected at the bottom will be called as sludge and which will be continuously removed by scrapers. Now, the sludge collected is sent to a separate tank. Now, in this tank we call it as digesters. We can see the breaking down of the organic compounds. Who does this? Here we take help of the biological agents. Now, the sludge is broken down by anaerobic bacteria. What does anaerobic mean? That means they do not need oxygen for survival. So, they can breathe in oxygen deficient condition also. Now, sludge, when it's broken down or decomposed, it releases biogas. So, this biogas will be used for other purposes. The water which is devoid of this organic molecules will be taken and it is termed as clarified water and it looks cleaner. Now, the last step in the wastewater treatment is aeration. The aeration involves passing the clarified water into an aeration tank. The aeration tank contains another set of bacteria termed as aerobic. Now, aerobic is different from anaerobic because they cannot survive without oxygen. So, they require oxygen for their survival. Now, these bacteria grow very rapidly and they consume the organic matter like human waste, animal waste, soaps, detergents, and all of this will be converted to CO2. CO2 will be released and this can take several hours because this is microorganisms and there will be huge amount of organic matter. Now the suspended microbes settle down at the bottom as activated sludge. Now once all this is done, the water is removed from the top and safely discharged into the nearby rivers or lakes. Now sometimes before discharging into the nearby water body, the water is again disinfected with certain chemicals. Why disinfection is required? So disinfection can reduce the number of harmful microbes present in it, and it can cut down the spreading of the diseases. Now the common disinfectants that are used to purify water are chlorine, ozone, etc. I hope this topic is clear to you. Thank you.